Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for our time. Today, our meeting has the purpose to kick off the project to build an investment portfolio risk tool for PGI Insurance Company. We have some goals here today. The first is to introduce the project to everyone and explain the motivation and key reasons for this project. The second goal is to describe the scope of the project and what we'd like to achieve with this project. And third goal is to introduce stakeholders and describe their roles. We would like to end this meeting by presenting a draft of the project timeline and by going through some of the next steps for this project. So without further ado, I will start with the first slide in the presentation that everyone should have. It was sent yesterday. So we can see here that PGI Insurance seeks to increase 2% in the guaranteed product business without increasing risk. The situation today is that PGI guaranteed product business is looking for this increase, but all the decisions are taken without a quantitative tool to manage risks. So decisions about clients changing investment policy statements, these decisions are made without taking into account the company risk profile and any incremental risk in this company. One complication to this situation is that today clients are seeking more aggressive investment strategies and lower fees. So if we don't evaluate risk appropriately, we cannot respond to the clients with solutions they are expecting from us, and this puts our goal, our target of 2% increase in risk, and we can lose business and falling short of this target goal eventually. And the question today, and the question this project tries to answer, is how PGI should evaluate the risks caused by clients' requests. How can we give our clients a quick answer regarding their requests, or new clients regarding their request to join us. So we are proposing this tool, and the next slide will give an overview of the project as a whole. So the solution is proposed by this project is that implementing a portfolio risk tool will allow PGI to achieve its target growth rate at the same time it manages risk. So there are three building blocks in this project. The first is to build a portfolio database, and this portfolio database will be a way to centralize our information regarding our clients' portfolios, securities, maturity, duration, all kind of information will be in this database. With this database, we'll need a way for portfolio managers to send data to the system. So we'll build an FTP portal through which portfolio managers will input information, and this information will flow automatically to the risk system. And as a result of this database and portal, we'll have all information regarding portfolios in a single database, and this will facilitate the creation of a risk tool to manage the risk in these portfolios. The second building block is the construction of meaningful stress scenarios. So we need market scenarios that represent shocks in meaningful risk factors for our product, such as interest rate and foreign exchange rate, for example. So these portfolios will be incorporated into this system, and we will apply some sensitivity analysis. This sensitivity analysis will be shocks that will make us to reprice our portfolio in simulating this kind of these situations. And as a result of this repricing, you're gonna have financial P&L as an output, and this financial P&L will help us in the decision of accepting or not a client request. So basically gonna have a quantitative metric, financial P&L, that are gonna help the company to evaluate this kind of decisions. And the third building block is to implement this tool. And to implement this tool, we're gonna need the participation of multiple stakeholders, and we're gonna need to address the concerns of these stakeholders. That's why we are here today, to walk through these stakeholders' concerns and try to address each one of them before the project is started, before you have a full project plan and budget. So next slide, we have an overview of all the stakeholders in this project. So as you know, we work in a complex company, and every change in a complex company like ours is going to affect a lot of different stakeholders. So all the stakeholders here in this chart, they're going to be affected. There are some stakeholders that are inside the dotted green lines. Those are the stakeholders going to be directly involved in the project. The stakeholder in the orange box is the head of product. He's going to be the sponsor of this project. And then you're going to have other stakeholders that will act in a more they're going to be responsible to carry to execute activities in this project. And then you have the project manager. Our CEO is here because he is, of course, one of the most interested persons in this company to have this project implemented, but he's not going to execute or be part of the project team. So the next slide, of course, all these stakeholders, they have different concerns, and one of the goals today is to address their concerns. So, for example, head of product, one of the key concerns that a head of product has is to keep the product competitiveness, to keep it competitive to our to add value to our clients, and he also wants this project to be effective and quick. So to address these concerns, we're gonna have well-defined goals for this project, and we're gonna have a PM, a portfolio manager, or sort of a project manager assigned to this project to track progress overall. So this is one possible solution to address these concerns. The second stakeholder, the head of portfolio management, of course, he is concerned about the internal capabilities of his team and if financial goals specifically be met. So to address these concerns, we will need to set quantitative goals, especially financial metrics, and need to keep tracking of these financial metrics throughout the project. Our third stakeholder here is the head of risk management. And his concerns, of course, involves the stress scenarios that we're going to adopt in this project, and he's concerned about keeping the risk profile of the company. And to address his concerns, he's going to have a lot of responsibilities in the process of choosing these scenarios and the process of approving changes. Our fourth stakeholder is the head of finance. And he's obviously concerned with upward price movements that we're going to have in the stock price of our company and availability of resource for such a big project. To address his concerns, we need to have a budget that will be approved by the executive board, and all movements and changes in this budget will be controlled by project manager with minimum margin for error week after week. Of course, our client relationship is a big concern for our head of client distribution, and to address his concerns, we're going to have a pilot to build trust, and going to have a clear project of communication to the clients of the value added by this project. And our head of IT is concerned with the quality of development, and to address his concerns, he'll retain responsibility for outsourced decision, and he's going to oversee development work, so that he's going to choose who's going to perform the work, who's going to develop this tool. Going to the next slide is a high-level implementation timeline. So given all the concerns we explained in the last slide, we need those stakeholders need to be involved in each one of these tasks in this timeline. So this is a draft of the timeline. We'll still need to define official timeline before the project starts, and this is part of the next steps. Each one of the stakeholders will take a look at this timeline, decide the tasks each one will have. And after that, we're going to move forward by defining and approving the project budget with Finance Committee. So these two are the next steps after this meeting. Thank you so much for hearing.